All right, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, Today we are looking at some artworks. We're going to look at 5 different artists. Now, these artists do all sorts of postcards. I will have the links to their personal websites in the discussion board, so you can look there and actually look at some more images other than the 2 that I am showing you from each of them. But I'm kind of giving you an idea of what we are going to be doing for this project, which is landscape postcards. So let's start with Miss Missy Eames. I chose the images from her. I chose some real places. So really what we're looking at with these artists and these artworks is how they are breaking up the space. Because the thing we're going to be talking about this week is perspective and aerial perspective, and really foreground, middle ground, and background. If you haven't watched those videos yet, they're coming. But one of the things I want you to see in these images is how the artist breaks up the space. They've got some foreground objects up here in the front. They've got background objects in the back. And then eventually we're going to add text on top. But really look at how those spaces are going back. She chose in these 2 images. She chose some real life places where she would like to go. Now, for your artworks, you don't necessarily need to choose real life places and render them realistically, and that's kind of where the rest of this presentation goes. So Steve Thomas, in these images, he chose some real life places. Venus and Mars are real places, but we can't really travel there. And if we could, it would look very different. So that's why you see the images that you're seeing. He's kind of got somebody like soaring to new heights over Venus, and somebody with a sun umbrella looking for the rain in the deserts of Mars. So they're kind of a little bit funny. That's kind of why the Wish You Were Here is the unit that I'm thinking is I really want you to think about, like, where do you wish you were? And maybe even that wish you were is someplace that isn't even on our planet. So it could be someplace real that people just really haven't gone yet. It could be someplace real on this planet that you haven't gone, or someplace that you have gone but stuck in quarantine, we can't go again. Or it could even be someplace that involves some fandoms, and the rest of these that I'm going to show you, and even those first 2 artists do some fandom images too. Jaime Harknett I chose these 2 Disney images. So once again, they've still got the foreground and middle ground and background, so they've got that sense of space. But he's doing Rapunzel's tower and Elsa's ice castle. So you still have that sense of space. You've got things going on in the background, but they're not necessarily the most realistic. Things kind of get colored in very simply. And we're going to talk about color. We're going to look at these images again next week and talk a little bit more about how they're dealing with color. And then we've got Megan Lara. She has a whole series of images. Her real images are a little bit more realistic. But these ones are from Doctor Who, which I thought were kind of funny. And still, she's got that sense of space. She's got stuff close to you and stuff far away. So really, when you're thinking about your images this week, I really want you thinking about, like, how could you have that sense of space in your artwork? Whether it's something from your fandom, whether it's something from that you didn't, like a world you didn't create, or even a world that you did. Lindsay Craig has this trilogy of images that are from Star Wars, which you all know is my personal favorite. But once again, they're kind of simply done. There's no big, real details. It's kind of simple. The colors are blocky. But she's still got that front foreground and that back space too. And she's the thing that she does really well is, especially in these 2, she's got a character in her foreground and something important going on in her background. So in this one too, she's got her Ewok up here, and then she's got the tower that's sending this shield generator to the Death Star. And in this one, she doesn't have something in the foreground, but the major idea is happening in the background. So think about your image. The foreground doesn't necessarily need to be where your most important thing is. Which if we go back a little bit, if we go back and look at Jaime Harknett, they put their image right there. Their foreground image is where their stuff is, and the background just gives you a sense of space. While with Lindsay, she's giving you a sense of story through both. Okay? So we will look at these images again next week, looking at fonts and looking at color. But right now, really what you need to do this week is pick your location and really create a sense of space.